So in the first example, you are going to look for the degree, which would be 7, and the leading coefficient, which is the number in front of it, would be negative 15, and the degree is an odd number. So here's my own personal example, and it's kind of like the one above, but the leading coefficient in this one would be negative 10, and the degree would be 5, and since the 5 is an odd number, you would put odd, and then since there is a negative sign in front of the 10, it would be negative. So if the degree is odd, you would put a negative sign in front of the infinity sign, but if it was even, you would put a positive sign in front of the infinity sign. And then with the leading coefficient, if it's positive, then you would put a positive sign in front of the infinity sign. So next thing we're going to be talking about is double distributive method. With this one, you write it out 3 times because it's to the third power. And then you want to distribute the x to each side. So you bring it over to the x, and then the 2y to the other side of the equation. And then what you'll get is the whole equation. And then what you want to do is find like terms and then combine them. And then the final answer that you'll end up with is x to the third power plus 12y squared plus 6yx plus 8y to the third power. Wow! So with Pascal's triangle and binomial expansion, it's basically using patterns and combining like terms. So as you can see, you go only down to the third level because the equation x plus 2y to the third power, you only need to go down 3 rows. So as you can see, I combine like terms and simplified to get the final answer. So when you're factoring, you're trying to factor out a monomial that would work best for this type. So the one that would work best would be 2, just because it's easiest to factor out. And from there, you just simplify and then have the 2 and then carry it over to the rest of the equation, which is shown below. And with these types of equations, you need to remember that you have to first factor out a number, and then from there, you are grouping, and then you end up with your final answer. So with synthetic division, you have an equation, and in the example, there is x to the third power, and you need to always remember that there's a 1 in front of that. So we start off by doing the division line symbol, and we put a 2 on the outside because we know that we have to put a 2 on the outside. And what we do is we write 1, 4, negative 3, and negative 18, and we bring down the 1, and we do 2 times 1, and you get 2, so 4 plus 2 equals 6, and you do the same thing for the rest of the numbers. And then we end up with 0 as the last number, so it's a 0 factor. So you bring down the positive 2 and make it x minus 2 because you need to make that an opposite. So then the equation you get is 1x squared plus 6x plus 9, and you set it equal to 0. And then what you want to do is factor out the numbers and set it equal to 0 again, and then the numbers that you get for the solution is 2 and then negative 3.